It's called Raise Your Game, but it's COVID-19 edition. So I want to welcome you to Raise Your Game COVID-19 edition. Today, I have something super powerful for you. We're talking about how to generate money in your business right now. We're going to dive right into this because I don't want to keep you too long. For those of you who don't know me, I am Shameca Tankerson. I'm creator of the Authority Selling Method, the 100K Slave Method. I am the producer of the Game On Live event, best-selling author of the book, The Power of Permission, How to Set Fire to Your Fears and Sell More. That's available on Amazon. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can go over there and grab that, especially if this is your first time connecting with me. That's a great place to get started. So let's talk about the money, yo. I want to dive into this for a couple of reasons. There's lots of things going on, and I know you guys are talking about, especially if you're a business owner, I know you're talking about, should I sell right now? Should I not sell? How do I know? Because I'm not the only one having this conversation. I'm having the conversation behind closed doors with my clients, but I'm seeing lots of posts on social media about it. So I want to address it, not to wag a finger at you and yell at you and say, yeah, you should be selling, because you're going to have to make that decision for yourself. Based on your own business and your own goals. What I will say is this: you got to be in this thing for the long game. We're playing the long game. At some point in time, the smoke and the fog is going to clear from this whole COVID-19 thing. And where is your business going to stand? Do you have the foundations in place? Have you been continuing to show up in the marketplace? All of those things are going to make a huge difference. So I want to jump into this and have this conversation. Just in a kind of safe space, a non-judgy space about what you should and should not do. I also want to make sure you guys know that this is a series. So this is part 2 of the series. I did part 1 already. The series is available. Let me pop this up here real quick so that you guys can see it. In my Facebook group. So every day this week, I'm bringing in another expert live into the 100K Slave Method Facebook group. And we're talking about how to pivot and shift from messaging to speaking, to live video, to just using video and YouTube. And how do you pivot in this marketplace? How to communicate to your ideal clients, your prospects, your actual clients, your friends and family during this time where we're all in close quarters with each other. How do you do that and communicate without being insensitive, insincere, and not thinking about other people? So all of these things, I'm bringing experts in to talk about this stuff, how to work from home when your kids and your husband or whoever, you got lots of people in your house at the same time. For those of us who have been working at home for a long time, which me, almost 2 decades of working from behind a computer at my desk at home with my kids, with my husband sometimes, even this is a little bit different because we still get some alone time and some quiet time. So how do you pivot and talk about that? So I'm bringing experts in to help you look at things like time blocking and setting boundaries for yourself, because I think this conversation is important. And that's just a way that I want to support and give back, because I know some pretty brilliant, badass people who are good at what they do, and they're already making pivots in this market. And I want them to talk about the things that they're doing. So if you're not a member of that community, you want to run over there at some point in time, 100K Slave Method Facebook group. That's where the rest of this series will be taking place. I decided to bring this one from outside of the community because I wanted to give you a sneak peek into how I'm serving people right now. And so let's dive into this. Are you ready? So I'm going to tell you this: grab a notebook, because I'm going to give you some things that you need to consider and think about. I'm going to give you some questions you need to be asking yourself. You're not going to be able to answer all of these questions on the fly while we're here. So I'll move slow through the questions so that you can get them and write them down. What I want to talk about today is pivoting, because successful entrepreneurs know how to pivot quickly during challenging times. And we're already doing that. And for some of you, you may not quite know what to do. So you might be in fight or flight. You may be just questioning, should I be selling my same offer? Should I be selling something different? So we're going to talk about that. What I know you must do is you've got to evaluate your current situation and make decisions based on truth rather than fear. And so we're going to talk a lot about that today. You've got to know what to sell and how to sell right now without coming off as being insensitive or insincere. We're going to talk about how to do that as well. You also need to discover a way for you to thrive in this current economy, not just survive. You want to thrive and flourish. You want to create confidence and certainty and cash flow in your business and not wait till the smoke clears to try to scramble and figure it out, or wait until your coffers or your money dries up to try to wait and figure it out. Here's the deal. In the last economic turndown, I lost everything. So I'm speaking from experience about pivoting, knowing what to do. I've already been preparing for something like this to come, shifting my own mindset, because when this happened, oh my gosh, it was like 8 years ago. So when this happened 8 years ago, was it 8 years ago? No, it was more than 8 years ago. It was about 12 years ago. In 2008, the bottom fell out of everything. That is when I lost everything. That is when I went on the cycle of defeat and shame and trying to find myself. Is where I wrote my power of permissions, which is what my book is about, or wrote my permission slips, which is what my book is about. And so I want to help you navigate and pivot faster than I did back then, because by the time I was trying to pivot, it was too late. I was in fear. I was in shame. I was in guilt around not being able to pay employees, all kinds of things. And what I forgot about is I was running a business. I was not my business. I was running a business. And so I want to talk about this. I want to put it out on the table. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about making money. Because here's the deal. There is opportunity right now to generate money in your business, in your service-based business, in your expert business, in your consulting business, your coaching business. If you are someone who builds your business by speaking mostly, there's still opportunity right now for you to generate what I call now money. And so I want to talk about how to pivot. Where I want to start with this is the foundation. Okay, so here is the foundation of generating now money. The foundation of all of this, you know what I'm going to say? Dun, dun, dun. Mindset. The foundation of all of this is mindset, because what you have decided about what's going on in these times will dictate your results. What you have decided, what you believe, if you believe people aren't buying right now, if you believe people don't have money to invest right now, if you believe people are pulling back on expenses and investing in other things, that will dictate your results. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later when I talk about the selling portion. But right now, my clients and I are still making sales and still closing high dollar sales. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, but one of my clients yesterday just celebrated closing a $21,000 sale. So what you believe will dictate your results. Another one of my clients is making more sales than she has in a long period of time, because they're looking at the opportunities and they are pivoting. They're looking at the opportunities and they're showing up and they're serving. And so I want to talk about this mindset piece because it is huge. The foundation of all of this is mindset, or let's look at it this way. It's your own emotional leadership. There's two kinds of people right now. There is the Chicken Little people where the sky is falling and everything is doom and gloom and all they want to do is binge watch Netflix. Now, don't get me wrong. There's two things I'm doing right now during this season. It's not because I have more time on my hands. It's just like, okay, I usually don't really go out that often because I work from home anyway. So unless I'm traveling, going to Disneyland, going to work out, or going to church, I really don't go anywhere, which is kind of a bad thing. So I live sort of a quarantine life. But because now I'm being forced to stay home, it's not my choice. I'm like fighting it with everything. So I am Netflixing and chilling by myself. So I am watching my fair share of Netflix. I've watched Self-Made just like most people have. I binge watched the whole thing the same day because it was only 4 episodes. So yeah, I'm doing all of that too. I'm also watching this show called that I really, really love. I think I just finished it though. All American. That show is really powerful and I love it. And it's bringing to light a whole bunch of things. So I'm binge watching just like the rest of you. And the second thing that I'm doing this time is I'm getting my fro game on. It's making me work on my fro game because Sally's is closed. How is Sally not one of those designated must have now kind of places that needs to be open? We got to have our hair game on point. So and I can't buy the stuff that I need from the stores that are open. So, shifted and started using a few other products. It's not quite working. So my fro game is being honed right now. Anyway, back to mindset. So You're either the chicken little person, doom and gloom and panic. And then there's the other side of the coin, which are the leaders. The leaders are getting centered and they're getting grounded and they're looking at the situation, not making decision based on fear, what other people are saying. And they're saying, okay, wait a minute, let's take a step back and let's look at this. Let's breathe. Let's support people. How can I help? How can I help them to continue to navigate through these challenges and not only continue to serve the people who we're already serving, but what leaders are doing is we're looking at opportunities to serve people right now that we weren't already currently serving. And I'm not saying a different market. I'm saying, how do I serve people outside of my communities? Because the first thing I did is inside of my communities, we did emergency calls so that I can get them grounded so that they could lead, right? It's why my clients are still closing sales right now. So I'm doing that inside of my communities, but then I had to take a step back and go, okay, how could I serve the greater? Right. And that's where this whole series came from. So we're looking for opportunities to serve right now, because here's what we know. We know that when the smoke clears, people are going to remember who was there for them. Right. And it's not just a give take thing. It's just what leaders do. People are looking for leadership right now. And so the question is, will you rise up? Right. So we want to refocus and look at how we can serve and lead at this time. And so the foundation of being able to do that in a powerful way is your mindset. What are you thinking? It's your energy. It's the energy with which you're showing up in the world right now. Check yourself. Are you showing up in this doom and gloom? Are you believing that, oh my gosh, the bottom's going to fall out of everything and I got to hold on to as much money and as much toilet paper and all kinds of things as possible? Whatever you believe is based on a decision, right? And if you were at Game On Live, I taught this, and that decision will dictate your results. So whatever you believe is based on a decision that you made. You experienced something. You may have heard something that was posted by the government or the media or even somebody on social media, and it made you decide something. You assigned a meaning to what's happening right now, and that decision dictates your actions that you take and your results. So if you're sitting back and you're saying, no one's spending money right now, I'm not going to make any money for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I probably won't get any clients. So I'm just going to put my head down and work on what color shade of fuchsia my website should be, or I'm going to work on my marketing message or this new thing I want to launch. You're actually dictating your results based on that decisions, because you're taking actions in alignment with that decision that no one's buying right now. So why should I make offers? Or it's insensitive to offer right now because people just don't have money because the economy is bad, right? All of those things. I'm sorry to laugh. I don't want to laugh at it, because your decision is your decision. But I want you to know that the results you get are based on the decision that you make. Okay. And if that is your mindset that no one's spending right now, I'm not going to make any money, therefore I'm not going to make any offers, I need to hunker down for 30, 60, 90 days. Of course, you're not going to make money. Of course, you're not going to make money, because the moment you make that decision, what happens is your brain goes into action to find evidence to support that. And you will continue to find evidence, including clients calling you and backing out of your contracts. Here's why, because that is the power of a decision. It's how your brain works. When you decide this is what I'm doing, when you decide this is what my truth, your brain searches for evidence. I'm going to teach you something really quickly on this, and then we're going to move on, because this is the foundation. Okay. It's called your reticular activation system. If you've ever test drove a car, now you could have lived the same place for a decade, 10 years or so, drove the same routes to take your children to school, to go to church, to go to work, back and forth to your house, right? And when you go test drive this car, you see it everywhere. But for the past 10 years, you never saw it. Not only do you see that same car, it's the same color, right? Because what happens is when you made the decision to test drive the car, you made a decision that you are in the market for a car. Your brain now starts looking for evidence, right? It's like, oh, this is important for me. So now you see it everywhere. I promise you those cars were probably right alongside you all along, but your brain was filtering it. The reticular activation system filters things out of our brain that we don't need so that our brain doesn't become overloaded. It's there by design. So when you make a decision like people aren't buying right now, it's not okay to sell, you're going to continually find evidence, just like you see that car when you're driving back and forth after you test drive, that supports that decision. So guess what, boo? Today, you get to make a new decision if you choose. You have the power to do that. You have the power to do that. You get to make a new decision. Okay? So that's the way that it works. And I won't go all along in that, but I want you to understand that the moment you make a decision, your brain immediately goes into action to find evidence to support that decision. You get what you focus on, right? Here's what I want you to understand. Despite everything that's going on, despite everything that's happening, sales are being made. And what has to happen if you want to be one that's making sales right now and you want your business to survive and not be like I was back in 2008, right? You want to adopt the mindset that, yes, people are spending because they are, right? I've been spending on groceries. I've been investing in programs. I have been spending during this time. And other people are spending as well. So you have to adopt that mindset that, yes, people are spending because they are, and decide that it's okay. So here's the second decision. Decide that it's okay for them to spend with you. Yes, people are spending, but then you must decide that it's okay for them to spend their money with you. That's the mindset that I want to start you with, because it is the foundation. All right. So now I want to jump you into 5 keys to creating confidence, certainty, and cash flow, making money now in your business so that you can not just survive through this thing, but thrive and flourish. Okay. I want you to thrive. I want you to flourish through what's happening now. Why? Because you're worthy of overflow. And not just that, you're worthy of accelerated overflow. It doesn't have to take a long time. You can create money now, cash infusions right now, if you decide so. You don't have to be on just enough or just survival mode. That's a decision you get to make in this moment. Okay? All right. So let's move into these 5 things. Grab your pen, like I said, because this one, especially this one. So in order for you to make money now, the first thing that you're going to need to do, and this is going to be fun to talk about for me because I want to talk about some like the dichotomy of this thing, right? You want to pivot your messaging. You want to pivot your messaging based on the current challenges. Now, here's what I've been seeing where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why I got my clients on a phone call. Literally, I called my clients and I said, I'm doing an emergency call. We're doing it at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Be there or be square, because we were like a few days into this and I was seeing crazy things happening and I didn't want them going down that path because I know what it's like to panic and make decisions and lose everything. Okay. So people are pivoting their offers and not their messaging. Here's my belief. I believe that your messaging is your offer. People buy based on emotion. People buy because you pull something in their heart and in their spirit that says, oh my gosh, this is my person. They were like, why are you reading my mail? They'll say things to you like, I feel like you're reading my mind. And so you want to pivot your messaging, not necessarily your offer. And I'm going to give you a few examples of this so that you can understand what I'm saying. Your offers may be just fine. There may be some slight tweaks that you may need to do in order to support people. But for the most part, your messaging, your offers may be okay for right now. I'm not saying that's true of everyone, but you don't want to pivot your offers to left field. Listen, when I was putting together this series, I went to go look for people and to see what kind of leadership they were given in their area of expertise so that I can bring them to my series so we can give back to you guys. So I went to go check out somebody who is in media. They consult people about getting media. And I'm like, okay, I want to hear what they say about getting media right now. And how do you position yourself, so that you can still be utilized during this time? There was nada. This person was literally teaching people how to take their businesses online, like what software to use, all of those things. And while that could be important for their clients behind the scenes, for me, when I look at that, that's a whole pivot of an offer. That's a whole pivot. It's not just pivoting messaging. It's like, oh, this is what people need right now, and I know how to do it, so let me sell it. That's panic mode. Okay. We're not pivoting offers, we're pivoting messaging. Same thing. I have a client who teaches voice. She teaches voice, how to own the power of your voice and like kill it and beat out your competition, whether you're a speaker, a high level executive that's got to pitch and do presentations, or you're a singer, right? That does competitions and all kinds of things. And so the thought for her came up like, what should I do? There's all these kids with parents at home. Maybe I should do voice lessons at home. First of all, it would have driven her crazy. She shouldn't want to do it, right? But that's an example of pivoting an offer because you're making a decision based in fear and not grounded. Just pivot your message a bit. And I want to teach you guys how to do that today by giving you some questions to look at. Lessons for kids is short term, right? We don't want a short term offer that only solves a now solution that makes you, we're playing the long game. So it needs to be in alignment with your long game. It can be a short-term answer for people, but it can't be a short-term pivot for you that takes you completely off where you're doing something totally different. Because when the fog clears, you will be starting over. Okay. So what I want you to understand, in my world, your messaging is your offer. And if you're automated, if a lot of your things are automated, a lot of your stuff may be irrelevant right now. And you may need to do some inventory on your funnels, your marketing swipe files, your emails that you've had set up to go out to shift that messaging just a little bit. Okay. So remember, you don't have to hard bank. We want to pivot your messaging based on the current challenges. So Shameca, how do I do that? I'm going to give you a few questions right now to help you get clear on this. Okay. To help you get clear. First question is this, write this down. Who do you serve? Who do you serve? You got to know that you know that you know who you serve. And that really shouldn't be changing right now, right? It shouldn't be changing. Who do you serve? Second thing, what's their specific problem at this moment? How do they see their problem at this moment? So for me, my client's problem in this moment is, should I sell? Should I not sell? Should I lower my price or should I create something totally different? So there's a different conversation. Before this, pre-COVID-19, the conversation was, how do I start going after high-end offers and create a sustainable business, going into multiple six figures? That's not the conversation right now. This is the conversation. Right? So what's their right now problem that you can actually solve that doesn't make you hard bank? Just pivot your messaging. What's their right now problem in this specific moment, right? Specific problem in this moment. Next thing, what's their real concerns and fears? What are they concerned about right now? What are their fears, right? My clients are afraid. My prospects are afraid. You're afraid that if you make an offer right now, you're going to piss some people off. You're going to come off as insensitive. You're going to lose some audience, some following, right? You're also afraid that you may not be able to sell right now. Your concerns or fears are like, I don't know what to do. Should I create something totally new, some $97 offer or whatever? Those are real concerns and fears. So what are your ideal clients' concerns and fears right now? Okay. Next question. What are their objections? For me, it's like, should I spend money with you or should I hold on to this money because I don't know if I'm going to get another client for at least for the next 90 days, could be 6 months from now. So do I let go of this money or do I not? That's one objection, right? But you got to get clear on this so you can pivot your messaging. What are their objections? And then the last thing that I want to give you is, what's a unique solution that you can give them right now? What's a unique solution that you can give them? Actually, I'm going to give you a couple more. What's a unique solution that you can give them right now? So I decided to do a series, right, to answer these questions. And then my contribution to this series is to teach you how to make money now, right? This is my contribution to the series. This is what I can do right now to support you. What can you do right now to support them with the problem, right? And then the next thing that you want to ask is, okay, you've solved that problem. What new problem arises because now they know, right? So for a lot of you, you may be thinking, okay, Shameca's teaching us this right now, and I'm going to take all of this down, but I still need to know how to customize this to myself. I need to look at what I have going on and make sure the pivot that I make in my messaging is actually going to position me as an authority, right? It's actually going to allow me to bring in new clients and leads. And what should that offer look like? Where should I price it? All of those things, right? Customization. So for me, that's the next problem that solving this problem for you brings up. How do I make this work for me? How do I deploy it? What are the steps that I need to take? Right? And then what can you sell them that solves that new problem? And I guarantee you, for the majority of you, it's probably you already are selling it. You just need to tweak it just a little bit for right now. Right? So for me, a great place for people to start would be in sales school, because one of the things we've tweaked and what we're doing with sales school is we're going to do a now money training. We're going to do a flourish and thrive in the economy and not just survive training. So I'm adding extra touch points based on what's happening right now so that my clients at all levels are being served. Right? So it could be something as simple as that. It may be something intimate, short term that you create, but you want to make sure that it still follows your path of your client journey, giving you opportunities for upsells, and it doesn't throw a monkey wrench in your normal marketing pattern, right? We don't just want to abruptly stop and offer something different. Okay, it needs to be strategic. All right, so the last two questions, again, I'll give it to you. So it's what unique solution can you give them right now? What is the problem that is created? What can you sell that solves that new problem? Okay. So one of the things I'm very great at doing is showing people how to make now money. That's why you see my clients hit the ground running. Boom. They're in, 5-figure sales, 6-figure sales within just a 60-day to, I would say a 30 to 90-day window, depending on who they are. It happens very quickly. Even right now, I can still do that, right? I teach people how to have a fast cash injection, even in uncertain times. So you want to get clear on who you serve and how you can help them. Okay. All right. So that's number one. Number one, pivot your messaging. Right? You want this messaging that will get them to raise their hands and see that you have something that can really support them right now. Number two, boom. This is where I live. This is where I live. You don't need pizza, they got pizza there. That's my nod to Hitch. Anyway, you actually want to double down on this together, not one or the other. Some of you are doubling down on serving, but you're not selling. So you want to double down on serving and selling right now during this time. What do I mean by this? If you're wondering, and I said this earlier, if you're wondering if people are buying high end, the answer is yes. Right? My clients are offering and closing high end packages right now, and so am I. Right? I just posted yesterday the celebration of one of my clients who just closed a $21,000 offer yesterday. This all goes back to mindset. It goes back to those decisions that you've made about what this time means for you. So I want to say this, and I want to say it loud and clear, because this is the other thing that I see. You don't need to discount anything to make sales right now. Can you? Yeah. And this is what I told my clients. Whatever decision you're making, you need to make sure that either it's only made in two places. It's either made in lack and fear or abundance and love. If you're deciding to discount because things are gravy for you and you can give back to people and that's how you want to do it, like me doing this for free, this is a give back. I can, though. I'm not struggling in my business. I'm not wondering if I'm going to get paid or the next, I can pay my bills. Let's just put it that way. Okay. And I've got a cushion. Like I talked about this when I did that live stream last week. This is the first time in my life I've ever been in a place where something like this has happened and I'm good. Right. And so I get to give back. What you have to decide is, am I making that decision to discount out of lack and fear that, people don't have money, so I have to do a $47 offer? Right? You want to serve and sell, but you want to make sound decisions. Okay? You don't need or have to discount anything right now to sell it. You can, And kudos to you if that's something that you desire to do and you want to do. Here's what I recommend instead. I recommend that you double down on serving and selling. I recommend that you double down on being the generous heart and spirit that you are. Go ahead, hook your audience up with something highly valuable for free. And alongside of that, keep selling whatever you've been selling at the price that you've been selling it at, right? For most of us, serving and selling is already modeled in how we do business, right? So not much has changed. For me, I'm doing the same thing I would have been doing. I was going to do a series this week anyway. I just decided to focus it on what's happening right now, a pivot of the message, just a slight tweak of the message. That's it. And I'm serving my audience. So you want to show up and serve and sell at the same time. This is a both and situation, people. Do you hear me? It's both and. It's not an either or. Either I can just serve people and not make money, or I can sell, and what most people are equating with that is look greedy. Do both, and you should be doing both. So what's happening, the opportunity that we have right now with this whole COVID-19 thing is that it is exposing our weaknesses, and it's exposing and bringing to the surface the things we already need to shift. So for those of you who were thinking it was an either or, now you get to learn it's both and. You get to practice this and model this in your own business. Here's the deal. If you have some fears, the way that you address those fears are head on. If you're worried about the economy, go invest in something. Spend your money. Make a decision and show a signal that I'm not afraid that money has not left the planet. Money is a replenishable resource every day, all day. Right? It is not gone. Money is in circulation. Circulating money is what keeps things working. It's what makes the world go round. So if you're afraid about the economy, do your part, right? Find somebody that needs support that's local to your area and offer a donation. You know, we did that earlier. The first thing I did coming out of, the big thing hitting, especially when all the toilet paper left the planet. That did leave the planet for a little while. It didn't leave the planet, but I'm joking. When that happened, the first thing I did was look at, okay, where are the people who are going to be home with kids? And I know how kids eat when they're at home, where groceries is going to be tight or tough, no matter what kind of support they're getting. For a long time, I lived in a position where I was just out of reach of, getting public assistance, but didn't make enough money to thrive. And so when my kids were home for extended periods of time, it was tough. Right. So we raised money so that we could go buy gift cards to grocery stores to give those to people who were struggling a bit right now. And that felt really good to do. So if that's something that you're worried about, go do something like that. Okay. Because here's the deal. You feeling bad about selling is doing exactly nothing to help you or anyone else. Right. It helps no one, including you. Because here's the truth. This is fact. The more money we make, the more we can give. The more we can contribute, the more we can make a difference. I heard somebody say this a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was last week. It took a lot of money to make the Dalai Lama look poor. Mother Teresa was one of the richest women on the planet, the richest people on the planet. Right? The more you make, the more you have, the more you can contribute, the more you can make a difference. Right? The more you can boost the economy and the more you can really serve others. The real reason why I can show up like I'm showing up right now is because I'm in a position where I can make a difference for other people. Right? I'm not scared and working and running where my next dollar is going to come from like I was back in 2008. When everything stopped, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had a $12,000 a month nut to crack on my business and my home expenses. It might have been more than that, and I wasn't sure. I saw the money draining out of my account and I wasn't sure what moves to make. Right. And I'm going to give you some other tips that will help you with that I didn't have during that time because I was trying to figure it out alone. But the more money you have, the more you can serve. So put your content out there. Yes. And don't forget to sell. Add calls to actions for the next step. Create content and offers. Right? Create the content and offers that's highly relevant and solves their pain because they want their pain solved. So I just gave you a way to do that with your messaging by looking at your messaging and figuring out how you can pivot it. Okay. If you're going to sell something, it has to be a must have, not a nice to have. I always talk about vitamins against medication, right? We all know that we could take vitamins. We know that. We know vitamins are available. We know they're good for us, and we know that can boost our immune system. Vitamins can provide all kinds of benefits to our bodies, yet we don't take them because we don't have to survive. Most of your marketing messages, most of what you offer and sell to people, this is even without COVID-19 being around, is a vitamin. The way it's marketed is like a nice to have, not a must have. So you got to think about, how can I shift this to where it's life-saving medication for someone, where they realize I need to do this and I need to do this now because I'm going to get what I need. It's going to solve my problem. It's going to solve the biggest problem I have and move me forward the fastest. Right? When you think about medication in that way, it's different from vitamins. Vitamins, some of us take them because we want to boost our immune systems and all of those kind of things. But when it comes to life-saving medications, I know people who have limited income, who have medications that cost them thousands of dollars, and they make sure they get that medication no matter what. Because it's what they need to survive. Without it, they would die. They do whatever it takes to make sure that it happens. So move what you're offering from it would be cool to kind of do that someday, one day, or ask yourself, how can I move what I do to someday, one day to must do now? Okay. Must do now. And that's going to happen by pivoting your messaging. Okay. So 2 is double down on serving and selling. Let's do 3. Highlight your results. I talk about this all the time with my POW. POW is proof of work posts, proof of work pages. We do all of that inside of my community. You want to highlight your results. Here's why. Right now, there's a flood of people on the internet. People are at home. So there are people who have lost jobs, who are now looking for something else to do. And they're looking at, how can I build money online? Because they see a lot of us doing it. They're like, oh, here's an opportunity for me to figure this out. There's also people who have been doubling. They've been working and building a business as a side hustle. Now they're doubling down. They're putting more effort into building their business online. Why am I talking about this? Not for doom and gloom purposes, not to make you feel bad about yourself, not to make you feel bad about your opportunities that are out there, because there's more than enough opportunity. But what you got to understand is they are now your competition. There's a lot of noise in the marketplace right now. A lot of people are saying the same things, going after the same clients, utilizing the same software. I use Zoom and BeLive. BeLive's been pretty great, but Zoom's been slow because there's so many freaking people on it right now. I'm like, get off my platforms, people. This is how I make my money. While you're testing it out and having cousins days and, exercise classes on Zoom and all kinds of stuff, hanging out with your friends and doing game nights, this is how it works. Anyway, this is just conversations in Shameca's head. So all of this is happening. So how do you differentiate yourself? Those of us who have results should be showing those results, because that's how you do it. So you want to think about this in this way. If you needed to have brain surgery or heart surgery, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've had conversations even with some of my clients, even though I teach this highlighting your method, and at this time right now, I don't want to come off as braggy. I don't want to come off as like, look at me and what my clients are doing when people are worried about X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to put in your brain what you think people are worried about. Okay. But what I want you to understand is you highlighting your results is positioning, right? Especially right now, with this flood of people who are now going to they have time to focus on learning how to build these businesses, and they're going to be showing up. What differentiates you from somebody that's new? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I work with experienced or seasoned business owners, right? So I don't work with brand new, I'm trying to get an ideal off the ground business owner. So what's going to distinguish you? It's your results, right? If you were to go to a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon and you needed surgery, are you going to go to the one that's like, hey, I think I could help you, and tells you all about it, maybe hand you a couple of pamphlets to read? Are you going to go to the surgeon that has results after results, client case studies and testimonials after testimonials, that they've taken some of the most craziest, situations, and the people have lived, right? They're telling you over and over again, oh, I do this all the time. And it's not just them, it's the people. They're showing the results. They're showing you the proof, right? What we're running is evidence-based businesses. It's not about bragging. It's providing people the proof and the evidence that you know what you're doing and that it works, not just your mouth. right? If you're able to create results for your clients, then talk about those results, share those results so that you're more likely to get chosen over newbies that are coming in and flooding the market. Everyone's working from home right now. A lot of people, the ones who aren't able to go to work. So we're all working from home, even people who aren't work at home people normally. So what's happening is those people are going to be doubling down on starting their business or because they have time, right? So you have to answer the question, why you? This is what answers the question, why you? Right? If you're established and you have results, lead with them, show them, because this is going to give your prospects that certainty and confidence and security, knowing that you're the best person for the job because you have a proven track record. The more you can share your results, the more you can transfer that sense of certainty and confidence over to your ideal clients. I believe that those who have results are going to be the ones that thrive in this economic climate if you so choose to use them. Okay? So that's why you want to lead with your results right now. All right? The next two are going to go really fast, and then we're going to wrap this up. The next one is this: get in community. One of the reasons why I was able to pivot so quickly and begin to answer, and it wasn't like I didn't jump right in. I waited till my spirit got a release of this is what I was going to say. I didn't just mimic and echo what everybody else was saying, which is why I led this conversation last week with don't be an echo of somebody else's leadership. Figure out what leadership looks like for you. You get to decide. But inside of my communities, my masterminds that I'm a part of, that I, pay for, and even with my own clients, we were having these conversations. We got to see each other, talk about how we wanted to respond, and then show up in that way. Right? This deciding to do this series happened very quickly. I had to reach out to the people and say, are you on board? And then we just rolled with it. It just happened last week, right? I was going to do a series that was just me teaching, but it wasn't relevant to the times based on what was going on. So we had to pivot the messaging. So it happened very quickly, but it happened inside of community. You want to stay connected to a powerful tribe, not a tribe that's focused on doom and gloom and Chicken Little syndrome, right? Because it's in times like these, who you roll with really matters, right? I was able to call on some of the most badass people I know to interview during this series because of community. I'm in community with them. So they were like, heck yeah, I'm going to show up for you. And I'm excited about it, right? So if you're a client of mine, we've already begun to address those things on how to pivot and support. If you're alone right now, you probably don't even know what to do, right? You're trying to look at what everybody's doing out there for free and figure it out. When you're inside of community, you have so much, it's like a sounding board, right? You get to bounce ideas off people and see what's working. And the resonance and the power and the energy of the collective will keep you focused and aligned. My clients are slaying sales and staying focused and leading because they're seeing each other do it, right? You have a support network. You want to be surrounded by a support network of people who understand this conversation. One of the conversations we usually don't have support around is just being a business owner, period, especially if you work from home. People don't get it. They think you're available all hours of the day. But now we're in another conversation, right? It's how do we do this thing right now? How do we give the most value right now? How do we still make money in our businesses right now? You want to be immersed in people that they're aware of this conversation and they're having this conversation so that you can stay on top of it. Right? So community is super important, super, super important. The last one that I'm going to give you, this is 5 for today. Get the help you need. Get the help you need. I used to have Lone Ranger syndrome. If you can see this, let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see the sign. It says, I got this, but it's signed God at the bottom. And somebody gave that to me after I gave a talk. And talked about how I used to have Lone Ranger syndrome, and I would try to figure out everything myself, and I would put all my plans together and be like, okay, God bless this. This is my plan. And God's like, you ain't got this, Shameca. I got this, right? So learn how to lean on the help that you need. Learn how to engage the help that you need. Get the help that you need. This is crucial for your success. Right? You don't have to Google it, figure it out, throw stuff up there, spaghetti against the wall. You can go with people who already are doing things that are working, right? But you can't do that if you don't have access to it. If you're going to invest and get help, now is the time for you to do that. Not waiting until the smoke clears and then going, okay, I'll invest later. I've heard from some people, not necessarily people in my camp or my clients, where people are like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to put it off until after this is all said and done. When the smoke clears, it's going to be too late. Now's the time to double down, figure things out, and start to work on things and put things out there so that you can start to take your market share. This right now is a time where there are going to be people who leapfrog other people who are putting their head in the sand. It's the time to grab market share. It's the time to be known as a leader. It's critical during this time, especially if you're running your business online, to learn how to pivot and navigate during these challenges, right? And new challenges are probably going to be coming up. How fast can you pivot? That's going to matter, right? Again, I've been supporting my clients with extra calls specifically geared towards this: how to thrive, how to create now money, how to create a cash infusion, how to pivot their messaging. And time is of the essence, right? We know we're thinking that this is likely going to last about 60 to 90 days. Let's just say that. This could be like a 90-day window. We heard that, up to 12 weeks, right? Now is the time to seize the opportunity to pivot your messaging, to double down on serving and selling. But here's the deal. It needs to be strategic. And if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to do it in a very strategic way, in a very focused way, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So the sooner you can invest and get the help you need, the sooner you can do that, the sooner your business will not only be sustainable, but be in a position to actually thrive during this climate. I literally just enrolled in another program last week, because I'm getting the support that I need to build my business to the next level. I don't want this thing to be the reason why my business doesn't hit $1 million this year. So the holes that I have, I'm making sure that they're plugged so that we can keep moving. Okay? And so I'm encouraging you to do the same thing and do it sooner rather than later. You want yourself to not just be able to sustain and survive, but be in a position of actually thriving during this climate, and of course after, because we're playing the long game, baby. This is not a short-term thing. We are playing the long game. Well, I am. I don't know if you're playing the long game as well, but I'm playing the long game. If you are playing the long game, I want you to type that. Make a commitment to yourself right now. I'm playing the long game. I am playing the long game. I am not looking for short-term situations. Now, some of you may need now money. Get the support you need to create the now money, right? Some of you are fortunate like I am, and you have a cushion and you can look at, what does my sustainability, my long game look like, right? You have the ability to move a little bit slower, right? So I hope this is encouraging for you. I'm not making any offers on this call, but I will let you know that I'm supporting people in doing this. Okay. What I want to gift you. So I'll say two things. The first thing I'm going to say is, if you know you need support in this area, reach out to me and I'll talk to you about the ways that I'm supporting people in doing that. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to let you know is I want to gift you something, because it still works right now. So first and foremost, reminder that this is a part of a series. We're actually on day 2. The rest of the series is happening in my 100K Slay Method Face group. Actually, if somebody could type this, the way that you get access to it is by going to, you can either search this group in Facebook, or you can go to powerplayerslive.com, and that will take you right there. So powerplayerslive.com will take you right to the group. You'll get access to the rest of the interview series that we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about how to pivot in video. We're going to be talking about communicating with your ideal clients. We've already talked about what are the things you need to do to pivot and take the speaking that you've been doing and be able to do it online successfully. It's not just about turning on a camera and just talking. There's things you need to have in place in order to make sure that you're actually able to create leads and money from doing this thing. And so we talked about that yesterday, and then there's more to come. We have more conversations to come. We're going to be talking about how to secure corporate contracts right now in this economy. How do you pivot your messaging to do that, right? So some super powerful things, Facebook ads, how to pivot your Facebook ads so that they actually work right now, so that you don't have to pull them out. So some of you probably got scared and made a decision to shut your ads off without thinking, because you thought, okay, my messaging's off, I don't know what to do. And that might be the worst thing you could do for your business right now. I don't know, right? But we want to make informed decisions based in abundance and love and not in lack, right? So I'm bringing in an expert to talk to you about that. So we're going to be having lots of conversations about this. So here's what I want to give to you aside from that is I want to gift you this. So this is something that's already been created since pre-COVID-19, but let me tell you why it's important. We talked about pivoting your messaging, and what most people probably don't know about my high-end offer playbook, it's not about what goes into a $10,000 offer or a $50,000 offer or a $100,000 offer per se, which myself and my clients all close offers at those price points. It's not necessarily what goes into that, right? What I'm known for is teaching you how to take what you do and package it into something that sells for $10,000 or more. What I've done inside of this playbook is I've gifted you with the real reason why people invest at those price points. And it is the messaging. It is the why. It is the problem that you're actually solving. So when you're putting together your offer, it's really about getting clear on why people want to invest with you. What are the results that you get for people? It's not even like what goes into it. Do you do coaching calls or not do coaching calls? And a lot of that is in there as well. But you're going to get really clear on what's the thing that you do better than anybody else that people will pay you the most money for. And so I want to gift this to the people who don't have access to it yet, so that you can take some time and get really clear on your messaging. Take the questions I gave you today, take this book and look at how you can serve people. Because here's what I know about offers that are going to work right now. People don't buy information, right? They're not buying information. Information is Googleable. You can Google info, right? What people buy is what I create. Courage containers of people that are moving towards a common goal where they get to borrow the belief of somebody else who just smashed a $21,000 sale yesterday. And then they go, oh, shoot, we can do this. We got this. People are still buying right now, right? They get that evidence. They buy accountability, putting their feet to the fire, holding them up when they're falling down. Those are the things that they're buying. So you got to know what are some of the ways that you can pivot the offers that you currently have to provide that level of support to people, because in these uncertain times, those are the kind of things that they need. So my gift to you, along with this series and access to it, is for you to download this high-end offer playbook so that you can really look at, what do I want to offer right now? Right? What do I want to offer? And then again, for those of you who know that you might need some support with this and you're looking at me as being the leader who guides you through that, just shoot me a message, or you can even put a comment down here that, Shameca, I'd like to know, about what you have where we can work together right now during this time, and we can have a conversation. I'll just shoot you a message and we'll talk about what it might look like for you to step into something that will help support you create revenue over the next 30, 60, 90 days and beyond, a sustainable business where you're thriving and you're flourishing. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for today. The next session is going to be inside of the 100K Slay Method group. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're talking to LaShawn Holland, and LaShawn Holland is going to talk to us about the financial markets and how to make decisions. Like, people are afraid right now, seeing their 401ks dip, not quite sure where to maneuver. She's going to teach us what to look at during this time and what decisions we should be looking at making. And I'm sure she's going to provide us with a lot of information and a lot of resources. Like I said, I'm bringing some of the most badass people I know to support you during this time so we can make decisions out of love and abundance, and not based on fear, based on fact, based in truth. Okay. All right, loves. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.